Stas23 here in today's Night Therapy. I have some brand new Asher knives to show y'all. And what I love about Asher knives is they're giving you a lot for your money. Their knives range all the way down to $39 and all the way up to $125. And the materials and the quality, it far exceeds those price ranges. And on the channel, I have reviewed this thumb stud Sparrow. I loved it. If you haven't seen this review, go check it out. S35VN, deep carry pocket clip, contoured G10 scales, inset stainless steel liners. And I don't remember exactly the price on this, but it's definitely under $100, no doubt about it. Very smooth, bearing deployment there. And after this one, he sent me this flipper Sparrow to check out. So it's basically the same thing as this. It's got a few minor upgraded things to it compared to this one. And this one, wowed me as well. S35VN, same comfortable contour G10 scales. Very, very snappy and smooth action. Love this knife. And then I bought I'm pretty sure this one's the flashback. Just a good little affordable knife here. This one I want to say is closer to that $39 range if I'm not mistaken. Blade steel on it is in Sandvik 12C. I think it's 12C 28 maybe. I don't know. But a great budgeting steel, stainless steel at that. Nice stonewash finish on it. Just a classic looking design. Those beautiful contoured D10 scales and inset liners. Deep carry pocket clip. And this one has a nice, smooth, and snappy deployment as well. Nice and comfortable. And then I think the first one I ever bought was this one. This was one that I heavily modified just to play around with it because it wasn't an expensive knife. I think it was $50. It's a titanium frame lock. And this is the classic, very smooth, snappy deployment. The only thing I didn't like about it is the tip down pocket clip. But after I modified this one, I put this texture, like that bark finish texture on the titanium and did the anode to it. After I did that, I removed that pocket clip. And being that this one's nice and slim and lightweight, I have it in one of my Maxpedition pouches that rides in my truck. So I always have an extra knife there just in case. I think these are in D2 steel, if I remember correctly. Just a cool little classic looking knife. And they have impressed me because over the years, every new model, he takes suggestions and things that he's noticed and he improves on each model. So every time I get a new Asher knife, I see something that he's changed that's changed for the better, or something that he's listened to, say, a reviewer or customer on. And he's always improving. And while improving, though, he's not making his prices skyrocket like you see with most companies. And I think that's what he's trying to go for here, is giving us the best bang for your buck with nice quality knives. And so far, I think he's accomplished that. Now, because of that, he is a small company. He is not a super rich guy, from my understanding. Justin, he's the owner of Asher Knives. He does everything he can to make these knives available to us, but because of their price, because of the quality, and because of their popularity, they sell out rather quickly. I mean, he gets the largest number run he can, and he tries to get them back on the site as fast as he can. But of course, you have to deal with your queue in the manufacturing process. I mean, that especially right now, things are so slow. So if you see a model on his site, because right now I think everything may be sold out, and he's doing his best to try to get things restocked. If you see something you like, sign up for his email reminder list thing, where it lets you know when something's about to drop, or lets you know when something drops. That way, say if you wanted this knife right here and it's out of stock, you can get that email reminder knowing that it's about to come back in stock, and you can be ready to pick one up. You know, depending on the popularity of the model, you know, depends on how fast they fly off the shelves. I know recently one of them flew off the shelf rather quickly, and you know he's doing everything he can. I mean, he's not one of the big box retailers that can afford to get, you know, a 10,000 run a run model on some of his Nods. I don't know how many he buys personally, but I know he's a smaller company. That's what I'm trying to purvey here. So today we're going to check out 4 new Asher knives. 3 of them are in prototype phase right now, and one I think had just got a release on it. So let's get into this. The first one we have right here is the Blade Hole Sparrow in S35VN titanium frame lock. And these are the ones I was talking about. I'm pretty sure this is the one that sold out rather quickly. We're going to do a full review on this one so you can try to decide, you know, if this is the knife for you whenever they do come back in stock. When I looked at the site and saw that these were only $125, I can see why they flew off the shelf so fast. The quality on this thing right here, it has blown my mind for that $125 price point. You have that beautiful blade hole, classic drop point. I love that blade shape. You have just a little bit of, you know, not a super abrupt belly. You have a tip that's in line with that pivot, so it's going to be, you know, a jack of all trades type of user. You can cut on flat surfaces. You can make your long cuts in cardboard without, you know, slipping out very easily due to that natural motion of the wrist. You have S35VN blade steel, and I tested his, and I think it held up just fine. Held up just like most of all other S35 that I've tested. All of them were nice and slicey. Something that he tries to implement an excellent slicer EDC blade for your enjoyment there. Decently thin blade stock. If you're a jimping man, the jimping is it does grip onto the thumb. You do have that sharpening choil right here. Now, this one, like I said, I will be doing the full testing and review because it's not a prototype. Give you a close look at this. You have a nice stonewash finish. Decently high flat grind here. Beautiful stonewash finish. You have a black pivot collar. I'm guessing that's aluminum right there with the Asher logo pivot. And that is completely flush like that. Looks like you have some nice Torx T8 hardware here that is also flushed, and love that blasted stonewash finish. It looks nice. It's not overly slick. Got a nice chamfer that goes around. I'm not going to get too deep into it, like I said, because I'm going to review this. Deep as they go, pocket clip there. That is tip up left or right handed. You can see the little slot right here. Hidden lanyard tube. Titanium gear backspacer. Now you see what I'm saying? Walking around this knife, at the price point, ergos initially feel great. It's not too thin to where it feels like I'm going to have to squeeze it extra tight in order for this knife not to twist in my hands. The action, let's see, nice and smooth. It's a light blade, so it's okay if it doesn't drop shut. The only thing I noticed right off the bat, and it's not really it's not an issue so far, is that you'd see that the lock side is flush with the show side scale, and you have that small chamfer right there. So it doesn't hurt to disengage, but it would be nice to have something to grab a hold to a little bit easier. And there's one model that, one of the prototypes that he implements something that I'll show later that I would love to see on, further productions. This would be great. But the action is awesome. Yeah, definitely excited to do some testing on this one. They got lightning pockets in there. Let's see if I can show you all that. Hopefully you can see that. Nice lightning pockets on the inside. Very well done. And on the lock side as well. So, he's definitely hitting all the points to make a great EDC knife. And the price is just outstanding. Oh, can't do it left-handed, but that's not a big deal. All right, so that's the first one. Stay tuned if you're interested to see my full testing and review of the Thumbhole Sparrow in S35 and titanium. I'm excited about this one. Okay, now let's check out some of these prototypes. Now, they're not necessarily new models, I don't think. One of them might be. I think one of them's a new model, but the other ones I think are current models possibly, and they're just updated versions or, you know, the next release. So the first one we have is the Axis Style Lock Nomad. And I looked on the site, and I think this model was going for around 90 bucks. You know, I don't know if that's where it's going to stay, but I think that's an excellent price. Before we get started, though, since these are prototypes and not the final production samples, I'll be doing a overview review because, you know, they're not fully refined. So I don't want to knock on something that is possibly going to be changed in the final production. I might touch on them, and if he hasn't said anything about it, you know, maybe, you know, just touch on it to see if that's something that could be changed or not. But I'm not going to, you know, I want you definitely to keep that in mind, you know, because that's the only problem with sending out prototypes is, you know, it's not the final form. But, you know, I'll tell you right now, these prototypes are pretty darn good. From what I've seen so far. So the tentative release date, and, you know, that's going to depend on manufacturing, of course, but the tentative date is mid to late February. So these are coming soon. I'll probably try to get one of these. I think it's, so far, I'm liking what I see. The one thing that he did tell me is that the production sample will have a slightly stiffer Omega spring. You know, I don't really see it that big of a deal, but I guess, you know, you can, if you turn it around, you can kind of fling it out. Not easily though. I kind of like it is, but you know, it won't hurt because over time those springs will start to get a little bit weaker and weaker. So, you know, a little bit stiffer is not a bad thing. He also said to me that the slight, listen to this, the slight lock stick, which that's another thing that doesn't bother me at all unless it's like very hard to break it. The reason why it doesn't bother me is because that just gives you, you know, added security that it is locked up and it's locked up solid. But he did see it as a problem, and he will be addressing that, trying to get that better or fixed completely. So just letting you know, he's on top of that kind of thing. He's definitely trying to address any problems we see, he sees, or, you know, things that he thinks he can make better. And that's what makes him so good. He also stated that it will have a ambidextrous wire pocket clip instead of this bent stainless clip there. So that's nice because this is a Axis style lock that can be that can easily be actuated left-handed as well. So, you know, the lefties can use this just like the righties. That's awesome to see that he decided to do that. Last thing that he told me is that he's going to be giving us a thinner blade cutting edge. So I'm guessing he's talking about the secondary edge bevel there, which that's an awesome thing. I love that. I don't know what it is right now. I will let y'all know in the full video, but you know, that is always something that I love to see. Testing as many knives as I have, you know, the best, you know, that common ground, that middle ground that I love is, you know, around 17 degrees on that edge bevel makes these things perform so much better. And they're still tough unless it's got a you know, garbage heat treat. It's still more than tough enough unless it's super thin behind that edge. But, you know, these are great EDC knives. But let's just take a closer look at this. You have smooth, contoured, very nicely done G10 that is, you can see this is like a full-length backspacer, but what it is an integral show side, which just means that this is one big piece right here, I think. Could be wrong, but I don't see any seams. It's either perfectly done or this top piece goes all the way down to here, and they just milled it out into one chunk. And I love seeing that. You have very minimal hardware with the two screws right here. Nice flush hardware. You have a hidden lanyard post. Awesome. He's going to have that reversible wire pocket clip. Action. Awesome. Blade. beautiful drop point here with a nice stone wash. Love that he goes with a nice clean stone wash there. And I'm not certain, but I think these were in S35 as well. If I can figure that out before I release this, I will put it on the screen, or try to. I like how he gives it. That's probably my favorite sharpening notches like that, where they cut back like that. Now, it is rather close. You can see right here, it's nice and thin. You'll have a few sharpenings before that starts to widen up. Maybe I would like to see it a little bit further, but I don't know. That's an easy fix. No side to side, no up and down. Very, very nice. For having that smooth of an action and no play in any direction, that's awesome. Initial ergos feel good. So that is the first one, the Axis Nomad. Stay tuned for that. Be ready if you want one of these. And let's get into the second one. So the first one I showed y'all was the thumb hole Sparrow. Now the second one in these prototypes is, whoops, sorry about that, is the thumb stud Sparrow. So basically the same knife, but with the thumb stud and that fuller. So let's move this one off and we'll take a close look at this. It said he told me that these should be coming out in the first half of January, so those are coming up pretty soon as well. Now that's tentative, depends on how the production schedule goes. So that's just where it's at right now. If you want to be more up to date, follow him on Instagram, follow the site, all the stuff. Yeah, that S35 VN, a stonewash blade with that nice fuller. I think the fuller looks good. Very nice, clean. You got nice thumb studs, nice sharpening notch cut out right there. Yeah, S35. Feels like it'd be a good cutter. Nice drop point. Look at that tip. You have a hardened stainless steel lock insert. Now, let's see what notes he gave me on this one. Said this is pretty close to the final production, but the steel lock insert will be fitted a bit better. So, that's just something he noticed that, or somebody noticed, and he's getting it addressed. So nothing wrong with that. Excellent, excellent. Now it's got that same access. Now I want to make this clear. It's still comfortable to disengage that. I always find it easier when there's either a wider space here or it's lifted a little bit higher on the lock side to get to, but it's definitely not a problem by any means. Now I did notice you do need to keep your fingers off that lock bar, or you may have trouble, deploying this one. Let's see, can I reverse flick it on the thumb stud? Easily on the reverse flick on the thumb stud. And let's see if I can do it with the, yep, I can do it with the fuller, the way the D10 is dialed on this one. I like the D10 on this one. Nice click there. Perfectly centered blade. Super smooth action. Love these Sparrows. Very, very nice. I think these went for, I'm not certain, but I think they were around 125, maybe 130, somewhere in that ballpark. Both prices are outstanding on this. So there you go. That's the second one. Now this third one, I think it's a brand new model from what I can tell on the site. I haven't seen this one yet. If y'all have, y'all can let me know that down in the comments. Also down in the comments, do you own any Sparrow knives? If so, which ones do you own? I love hearing that kind of stuff. And what do you think about them? I love them. I think they're excellent value. But let's get into this third one. We're going to call this one the Flipper Titanium. So you have a wicked Tanto blade here. That small, looks like a slight upward belly here. And then you have this very aggressive Tanto right there. So you have a secondary point right there for doing some cutting. And a wicked point there. You have nice flat grind here. Now it's just, it almost looks like a continuous grind, but you have a slight faint line right there where they ground the Tanto area. Feels like a flat grind throughout. You have a fuller here, jimping. You do have a sharpening notch that just barely clears that plunge. I would love to see that come out just a little bit further, or the plunge line scoot back some. S35 VN steel. Now, he said that he's going to try, right now this is a blasted frame lock side. He's going to try to have this stone washed. I think that's an excellent idea. Now, this is what I was talking about. Okay, how I just talked about the lock access here on the Sparrow, that I would like to see it a little bit easier to access. It's not terrible or anything, not bad at all really, but here you see how it's the same all the way to get here, and then it has this little raised lip with this. This thing is so comfortable to disengage. I love that. I would love to see that implemented here. That would be awesome. Now, you know, it's not this knife. I would still buy this knife without that. That's I don't want it to sound like that, but I would love to see this implemented more on, you know, the newer knives. That is awesome. It feels really good. It stays out of the way when in your grip. It doesn't. I don't feel it at all. This one is it's a more medium size. No, it's probably a full size EDC. Well, let's do a quick size comparison. Let's see. Let's go with the Ontario Rat 1 and 2. So here's the Rat 2, pivot to pivot. It's bigger than the Rat 2, and then there's the Rat 1. So it's in that middle. I find this to be a smaller EDC, this to be a larger EDC, so it's in that perfect middle ground, in my opinion, on my standards at least. The flipper is nice and snappy. Ergos are pretty, you know, pretty darn good. There's no crazy deep choils or anything. You have a deep carry clip here. It's riding on bearings, so it rockets out. So let's see what he told me with this flipper, titanium flipper. They're shooting for, it says around April. So this one's still early in its phases right now. So just stay tuned for this one. Sorry if you hear my grandbaby. They're playing in the background. This one, he said the only change so far, like I said, that maybe the stonewash lock side, also an ambidextrous wire pocket clip. That's, you know, a nice thing so you don't leave out lefties. And that's it on this one so far. Only other thing I think I would like, and I don't, you know, this may be something that's going to happen. Wait, where is it at? I don't mind the logo there, but wait, oh, it's on one of my older ones. I don't know if I would rather see it this size on there. It just takes up almost the entire blade there. You know, not the end of the world, but especially at the prices these go for. But I think it would look better, or put it on the pivot or something. Just a thought. Not another thing that wouldn't really stop me from buying it. And one thing I did notice is it's not like there's no sharp point there. I just prefer my flipper tabs canted back some. That way, you know, it's always comfortable. Or if you wanted to do like a push button style, you could. But the way it's set up right now, it's not uncomfortable or anything. This one also has that integral show side backspacer as well. Hidden lanyard post. A hardened steel lock interface. Perfectly centered. So yeah, I would love to hear which one of these is your favorite. Like I said, if you own any of these, which ones do you own? Which one's your favorite that you own? And which one of these are you most excited about? If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Stay tuned for the review and testing of these, and then the review and overview of these three. All right, guys and girls, I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.